welcome back to a new season of Grief and Giggles. I gotta let her get her giggles in. But anyway, I know it's almost been what? I know it's almost been a year since it literally has almost been a year since our last episode of season one. And we've been on a hiatus, a big one.
Hi, everybody. Yes, we have been on a extensive hiatus. It was not planned, but life is out here, life and kicking butt, I know Jesus got the wheel, but I feel like we off-roading sometimes. So, but we're back.
Yeah.
And so we want to thank everybody for still staying with us, supporting us, and supporting the podcast, and even asking. I know myself personally, people have asked me like, okay, well, when you start in the next season? I'm like, okay, all right, got a little fan base, all right, okay. So, so appreciate everybody again for your support, for your follow, for your share, for sharing with others who did not know about our podcast prior to, and the many influences that it's had on other people in their lives and us as well.
Yeah. And also meeting people.
Yeah.
Like we met somebody at a party and they were like, oh my God.
I know Grief and Giggles. And I was like, what? So I was like, oh, we are big time now.
Oh, Lord.
We official.
But that felt good, running into somebody that like knew who we were and actually listened to our podcast. So this season, we're really trying to do more videos for you guys because we know that, everybody right now is very visual. So we're really going to try to give you guys more videos this season. And shout out to Nicole, our really good friend and business mentor.
Yes.
Who allowed us to use her space. If you don't know who she is a phenomenal photographer.
Yes.
If you're looking for a photographer, hit up Nicole Mondestin. She has a beautiful space to do beautiful portraits. And so just giving her a shout out.
Nice plug.
Of course. That's the sister from another mister, as Vincent would say. So I know we've been on a long hiatus. So, sister.
Hi, sister.
Where are you right now with your grief? I know we took a long hiatus and life has been life in between, but like,
where am I?
Where do you feel like you are at this moment with grief? Because this is year 7 for our mom passing and year 4 for our dad. And Mother's Day is coming up.
So yes.
Sorry, I was hitting all the.
I was like, oh, bang. Okay, so yeah. So time for me, as far as mom being 7 and dad being 4, is just kind of like, I guess because mom happened first. It seems a while. It seems like a long time, but then it still feels like it's yesterday because it's still fresh in some ways. Mm-hmm. And then I remember like we were talking the other night about dad, dad passed in 2020. So that was a different time and space altogether. Like, what did you say the other night? Like it was a struggle wrapped in a struggle?
It was a pandemic within a pandemic.
Like it was just, levels to it. So I think we experienced those different spaces of grief differently because the timing was different, life was different. So I think where I am, I'm still grieving, but I don't cry as much. It doesn't mean that it doesn't still hurt or it doesn't affect me. I think my most recent time that I actually cried was Easter. I just remember having to go to the grocery store and get like all the food. And I remember, prepping food with mommy in the kitchen, being her sous chef for Easter. And I was like, wow, like I really have to do all the things. And it wasn't even, I was crying because of that. I was just crying because I know it was, a special holiday for our family and how we would get together as a family and, be together, fellowshipping And just to be in the house like alone was just like triggering. And I just cried. I let it out. Got myself together, and then I went to the grocery store and I cooked like how mommy would cook for Easter. And
Did you work that weekend?
no.
I feel like I invited you to come down for Easter.
Are we really talking about this on film right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Welcome to the sisters room. I mean, I'm just asking.
You in my, there's like another question on top of a question. No, I did not work that weekend.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about that later.
But I don't work on my birthday, and I don't work on a day that Jesus has resurrected. Okay. Bonnie.
Do it.
What was the other question?
I was asking you, where are you right now with your grief?
I answered that. What was the following question? Oh, how do I feel about Mother's Day? Let's stay on. Let's stay on track. What my work schedule is. Okay.
Not collectively.
Mother's Day is always, well, I mean, Mother's and Father's Day really, but Mother's Day is always like, oh, here we go. And, you know, I try to stay off of social media. It's kind of hard to like run away from Mother's Day. You see like Mother's Day sales or Mother's Day commercials or
Mother's Day cards,
flowers and Mother's Day signs. And I just want to like
rip everything down.
I just want to be wrapped up.
You can crawl, but I'll be ready to rip everything down.
So on Mother's Day, I just want to be like wrapped up in a cocoon. Like I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to hear "Mama" by Boys. I don't want to hear any of that. Don't.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll always love my. Nope. Next track. Okay.
Oh gosh.
So you know, I'm happy for other people who are mothers who are experiencing Mother's Day and being loved on. And of course, I have other women in my life who are examples of mothers, godmothers, aunties, big sisters. So yes. But yeah, that day is still kind of, I don't look forward to when it comes. And I'm happy. I literally take like a deep breath when Mother's Day is over. I'll be like, whew, yes, we made it, honey. We survived. We passed.
I mean, that kind of goes into like the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is like, so for Tasha and I, like our time of grief is like, it starts from Mother's Day and then it goes until July, right? Because we have Mother's Day first. Then we have Father's Day and our mother's birthday. Then a week later is Dad's death anniversary. And then a week later is Dad's birthday. And then we have a 2-week break. And then it's Mom's death anniversary in July. So it's like they're all clumped together. So like from May to July, like we're literally
and then we go through highs and lows because in between that is all of our birthdays. Like our brother's birthday's in April. Shout out to Kevin, turned 60 this year. His birthday's in April. I'm sorry, let's go back. March for you.
But that's not a rough season.
But I'm just saying, I'm saying the highs and lows, Nicole. Let me finish my thought. Thank you.
Okay, whatever.
March, April for Kevin, May for me. And then, of course, you know, Mother's Day, like you said, all those other things are entwined in that. So, you know, emotionally, you go from like being in a celebratory space and then you're back to sad and you're celebrating again and you're back to sad and you're like, I just went off the ride, honey. Where are we?
I know.
So how are you? That was the question I had for you. Somebody stole my notes, apparently.
Whatever. You was looking at my notes when I went to go get the charger for the light. But anyway, it's fine. Where am I with grief? I think honestly, since it's been, this is year 7, I feel like I actually have like started feeling the grief this year.
Explain.
Because you could be on autopilot for a very long time with grief and like you're just going on, I don't want to say going on with life, but you're pretty much like, you know, going to work. You're functioning. Yeah. Right. Like you're learning to function. You're going out, you're hanging out, you're trying to laugh, trying to celebrate holidays, birthdays, being around friends and family, and
being present,
trying to be present.
right?
But that grief is always sitting in the back of your mind. And so I think for me, with my grief, I've honestly been in a season of isolation the last couple of months. And not isolation in a bad way, but isolation like, I've been doing like a lot of things. Like I've been, doing therapy, I've been doing life coaching, I've been doing yoga. And so like those three things alone have like caused me to like sit still and sit with my grief, and like what has happened. So yeah, I just feel like I've just been in a season where it's pretty much like silent. So now I'm like, oh, that's grief. Like, oh.
Or maybe I feel like you still have experienced grief before that. It feels differently. You know what I mean? Like you are, and you can identify it better. And perhaps, I mean, I don't know for you, but for me, perhaps you can kind of like when I cried on Easter Sunday, it was like, just trying to like identify what your triggers are. Like I literally was like mad at myself, like, bro, where did that come from? Like, pull it together. And I was like, I was upset that I allowed myself to, like, grief, you just kind of like going on with life. You're like, yeah, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And grief be like, hold my beer, boo. And that's exactly what happened. And I was like, oh, what is happening?
Not hold my beer.
And yeah, I mean, again, so I think as we get older with the grief, we're just kind of experiencing or acknowledging what our triggers are.
Right.
And just kind of doing better with it. I remember I shared before in another episode about like panic attacks, just having panic attacks. I don't have them as much like I did before.
And why do you think that is?
Again, I think it's just different phases of grief, and I think that I can actually sense when it's about to happen.
Yeah.
And we talked about therapy too, and just using the tools that you have to.
Right. Oh, go ahead.
Wipe it.
No, you do it.
You just
continue what you were saying.
I can't because you got your pinky in my eye. Better?
Yeah. Theatrics. Go ahead.
I lost my thought.
I'm sorry.
Of course. Go ahead.
But anyway, okay. So you lost your thought. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You're a jerk. You know that? Anyway.
You're a jerk.
You're a jerk. So broken crayons still color. What do you feel about that? What do you think when you hear that? Like, do you actually feel like?
I think it's a very creative way to say that we're still valuable, we're still worthy, we're still have purpose. Yeah. I think that we still have a purpose of being here, and we have to live life to the fullest, and sometimes that is kind of hard to do. It's either are you living life or you just existing. I remember that part from Mommy's favorite movie, one of Mommy's favorite movies. What's the Tyler Perry movie?
Tyler Perry movie.
With Kathy Bates.
Oh, I can't remember the name of it. I don't remember.
Anyway, I can't think of the name of the movie right now. But anyway, there's a line in the movie where she asks, "Are you living or are you existing?" So, I think that's where you have to gently remind yourself during those moments, like, okay, like, am I just going to, be depressed and be sad and not really live my life to the fullest, or am I just going to like, am I going to coast through life, or am I really going to live this thing out and just be fantastic in everything that I do, So yeah, I think that you have to consciously be aware and remind yourself of that.
Are you living?
What?
Are you living? Like, do you feel like you're living?
I think I eviscerate. I go back and forth. There's moments where, I can isolate. I know some people can definitely attest to that. They're like, do I have to do a wellness check on you? But isolation for me is safety. Sometimes I know I have to like do better with that.
But are you progressing in that isolation?
I am not. I do have to do better with the isolation part.
Okay.
Living, there are moments where, it's not always consistent though. There's some times I just kind of, go off track, so I'm just trying to be more consistent with it. But again, it's just kind of navigating life.
Have you noticed like where you're not progressing, like in your life? Have you like identified that without other people saying anything to you?
We could be our own worst, we judge ourselves, I think, harder than anyone else. And people say, oh, give yourself grace, and you're doing the best that you can. And then you have other people who may not even know what you're feeling in that moment or experiencing, and they'll just say something that is positive to you, like, you know what, you're doing really great, or you're doing, and it's like, okay, and it's not provoked by anything,
Right.
They're just saying it, and it kind of makes you feel like, oh, okay, all right, I'm not doing as bad as I thought I was.
Right.
Kind of give yourself more grace when it comes to that. So I'm trying to do better and just identify and just do some assessments on myself as far as what I need to do to be better, how to grow from that experience, things that, like, we're not the same people we were 7 years ago. No. Right? Grief or not, like, you shouldn't be the same person, right? But grief included in that, you have to kind of like take a self-assessment and say, okay, am I still doing the same thing that I've been doing? What do I need to do different? And I think it's mourning the person that you were formerly, right? And then becoming this new person, this new being, and then not having the most important people in your life to say, do this, right, do that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm an adult.
But I think that's where, like, for me, like, being in this season of isolation, I feel like that's where I was just like, okay, I have to lean on God a whole lot more now than I did before. I didn't realize like how much I depended on mom and dad for like words of advice or, just trying to navigate certain things. And so I think now, like, I definitely have been like trying to be more diligent with like reading my word and like being in prayer. So especially, trying to navigate just adulthood, like post loss, like that has been quite interesting because, you're already emotionally sensitive to things because of grief. And then when you have other things that like happen like in life, like whether it be loss of jobs or heartbreak or whatever it may be, that adds to the layer, it adds another layer onto like grief, right? And so I definitely have been like way more diligent with like connecting with God and making that time. So yeah,
it's important. Yeah, very important. That way, if it's you or if it's him. You know what I mean? Having that relationship, especially when you are just by yourself, you're alone, and reading scriptures and words that speak specifically to that space that you're in. Right. And looking at other stories or examples in the Bible similar to what you've experienced and how they've made it through. Right. So yeah. Okay, let's see. What are some things you wished mommy was here to experience with you? I guess it kind of ties into what you were talking about as far as advice and whatever. What else do you wish mommy was here to experience with you?
I don't know. I feel like I think if mom was here right now, she'd be like, what the hell is going on in this world? Like, what is all this stuff going on, pandemic or whatever? But no, all jokes aside, like I wish she was here to experience I know it sounds weird, but like the podcast, right? Like, but then again, it would be hard because
Right.
there would be no grief, right? But I kind of wish that her and dad were able to see like the podcast that we have created to kind of help other people
They see it
through this journey of grief. Yeah, I just wish they were here to experience the milestones with us, like in adulthood.
Yeah.
Adulthood is not easy, especially like when you're in your 40s, right? Like,
right.
Apparently you experience a midlife crisis in your 40s.
Ooh,
But
honey, yes.
um,
I just had a birthday, so I know. Shout out to the Taurus. Taurus, gang, gang, gang.
all right, everybody.
But I'm almost 50. I'm not going to say how old I am. Almost 50. I'm just like, what is this, honey? First of all, how did we get here? I was 21 like yesterday. And so to be this age, and I'm like, when we were younger, you thought like your parents' age, and you're like, dang, they old. And I'm like, I'm almost, I was almost their age, and I'm like, I don't feel old.
Yeah.
But I do. I remember having this conversation with my best friend's mom. Shout out to Miss Pat. And I went over the house to bring her some flowers for her birthday. And we were talking, and I said, you know what, Miss Pat? I get why y'all came home from work and y'all was mad we didn't take the chicken out of the freezer. I understand. Like, I overstand. Because this adulting is ghetto, honey. It's ghetto. And she was just cracking up laughing. But I felt like, I felt y'all 110%. Like, I was just like, yo, you have to deal with work and deal with people at your job and commuting back and forth, get home.
Commuting, child, getting on
Then
the subway.
Who gonna cook? You. Who gonna clean? You.
Who gonna do the homework?
You.
That's
so
a lot.
I was like, yo, shout out to the moms though, because whew, honey, it's just so much.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. So,
what kind of mother do you think you'll be?
Barbara Jean.
What does that mean? I mean, I know. But our audience may not know.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. That's not something that I really thought about, honestly. I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I'll definitely be a praying mother. Yeah, that's all that I can give right now. Like, definitely a praying mother, a nurturing mother, a loving mother.
Okay.
I'm not your little friend.
Mother.
Definitely not your little friend, mother. Okay.
I think that's all Black mothers,
yeah. But yeah, I just that's a good question. I guess that's something that I can
write that in your journal. Write that down.
Okay.
Write that down.
With the journal prompt.
And think about that a little bit more.
On Mother's Day.
Like in life, not just Mother's Day.
Okay. What about you?
That was my question for you. You can't ask me the same question.
Why I can't ask you that? I could spin the block and flip it back on you.
For me, I think I'm gonna just try my best to emulate what Mom gave us. I mean, I know she was strict, but I understand why living in this crazy world, right?
Strict, but we have balance.
Yeah,
like we could go out and do stuff.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just a household of love, support. Allowing us certain freedoms, not a lot, but certain freedoms, but then also allowing us to be able to make mistakes and learn a lesson from the mistake. being like the best cheerleader, you know,
Yeah.
in any and everything that we did, big or small.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I can say this, you know, having experienced mommy as an adult and living on my own and having my own place and my own car, being able to be friends with my mom, you know, like as an adult, you know what I mean? But still, a little bit of fear. She's still like, I still not her little friend, okay? So if I ever try to get cute, even in my older age, she would check me still. But still being able to have that,
y'all know y'all can still get popped as an adult, right? Like I've seen my uncle get popped by my grandmother.
It's crazy. I'd be like, what happened? and 9 times out of 10, the kids is taller or bigger than their mama. Yeah. And what you gonna do? Nothing. You gonna take that pop? You gonna take that reprimand, and you gonna keep it pushing?
That's it.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, how do you want to live life going forward? Like, you know, with grief where you are right now, thinking about like the type of mother you want to be. Like, how do you want to live life going forward?
How do I want to live life going forward? I mean, I think I just...
Why you always frowning every time I ask a question?
Why did you even highlight that, Nicole, in the video?
I'm just saying.
That okay, well,
Go ahead.
Can you edit that out, please?
No, go ahead.
Why?
Can you answer the question?
What was the question again?
How do you want to live life moving forward?
I want to be happy. I want to, you know, experience just happiness all the way around, you know? Mm-hmm. In all aspects of my life, I want to continue to grow my village, continue to grow as an individual, living, loving, and growing. I know it's very general, but I don't want to give too many specifics at this time.
Why?
Because I don't. Next case.
Do you have things happening?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe.
Okay. All right. Good.
I don't have any more questions. That was it.
Well. Anyway, where in your life do you believe, excuse me?
Wait, I do have another question. Go ahead.
Where in life do you feel like grief has set you back? Where you feel like it's kind of hard for you to move forward?
I mean, that's a good question. I think that emotionally I can just disconnect or have wall up or, you know, feeling unorganized, feeling unmotivated to do anything. Mm-hmm. So yeah, those areas definitely, you know, struggling with the depression and anxiety in some spaces. I mean, that's always going to be a setback, but you just have to like push through it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What is your advice for people who are experiencing Mother's Day this year? Their first Mother's Day without their mom, or those who are still experiencing it now, and what advice would you give them?
Me, the one that says she want to rip everything down. I'm ready to go in the mall like.
Got it.
Yeah, I may not be the best person to ask.
Got it.
I would say, you know, if you feel like punching your pillows, go ahead and punch your pillows. If you want to yell out the window, yell out the window. Like, you know, you just got to get it out. You got to get out the frustration, the anger, the sadness, the tears. Like, do what you got to do to, like, make yourself feel better. But I would say don't, like, go to the restaurant and start, like...
I mean,
and knocking stuff off the table or nothing like that.
Be on the news. Okay.
But, you know, like, you get what I'm saying.
We
like,
got a live one.
But just getting those feelings out, because it can be hard sometimes. Because, like, I try not to go out on Mother's Day.
Same.
Because I know when I go out and, like, I see people, Lord forgive me, I'll be like, you know. But anyway, I'm a behave. But yeah, I try not to go out on Mother's Day because it's just not. I don't want to go out. I know I have people that have invited me to like go out with them and their mom. No thanks. Sorry, I don't want to do that. So I would say just take it minute by minute, hour by hour. The day is only 24 hours. And so if you can, you know, like do stuff that that your mom liked, right? Like our mom liked seafood, so I think last year I ordered some seafood. I didn't go out because obviously the restaurants are jam packed. Um, but like I ordered seafood. I got like flowers. Um, I think you were here. You were, yeah. We were together for a little bit. Um, yeah, just like try to do things that your mother would have enjoyed. I know a lot of people do like gardens for their mother, or what else? Some sort of like arts and craft or whatever. But do something, you know. And like I said, if you need to get your feelings out, get your feelings out however you need to, whether that's punching a pillow.
Preferably something that's safe and legal.
Yeah.
Let's just put that little caveat in there.
Yeah, put that little caveat on there. So, what about you? How are you feeling about Mother's Day this year?
The same thing, the same way I felt for the last 7 years. Hated it.
Noted.
Okay, that's it. I don't go out either. No desire to, you know, don't want to hear the mama songs on the radio. It's beautiful. I don't even go to church on Mother's Day.
Okay. So basically, both of us are like the Kendrick Lamar on Mother's Day.
Yo, you and this Kendrick Lamar, sir. You all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. I feel like every time I put my phone down and pick it back up, it's like a whole nother.
Kendrick said, and another thing. Like, wow.
But yeah, I feel like that energy on Mother's Day. Like, I'm just ready to just tear it up. But anyway, yeah, so that's like how I feel. How are you feeling right now?
Hungry.
You're hungry? Okay.
So we just want to give a shout out to all the mothers on Mother's Day, and thank you everybody for tuning in and welcoming us back into your lives for this next season of Grief and Giggles. We thank you so much for tuning in, continuing to support us, continue to share, love, like. Please comment. And those who are dealing with grief, be it the first year or many years, especially during Mother's Day, again, be kind to yourself, give yourself grace. Think on the good memories that you have with your mom. And how she made you to be here and who you are as a person. And continue to try to carry on those type of traditions that your mom might have had in your household growing up. And do things that are celebrating them. Now, I know I say I'll be wrapped up in a cocoon or whatever, but I do like to do things. I think on mom and celebrate mom. I may do it prior to Mother's Day, but definitely something where I'm not always like throughout the day upset about Mother's Day. Like I can get through it. I just can't be outside. So like to your point, like gardening, you know, getting flowers. I watch movies. I watch like mom's favorite movies, and I feel connected in that way. Or you know, I can look through pictures and childhood photos, things of that nature. So
yeah,
But again, thank you everybody for tuning in for our episode.
Let us know if you want to hear certain topics.
Yes, please drop topics in the chat and in the comments for those topics that you feel you want to hear about. We may not have necessarily experienced it, but we definitely would like to bring other guests that we've had before to discuss those type of topics. And we want to help one another in this grief community. So once again, thank you for your support and joining us again. We look forward to the next episode. And until then, bye.
Bye.